Joining us right now is politics reporter for the Washington Examiner, Gabby Marangelo, and Steve Murphy, Democratic strategist and campaign manager for Dick Gephardt's 2004 presidential campaign. Good to see you both. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Gabby, let me kick this off with you. How do you think this affects Clinton's campaign so close to Election Day?
Well, the Clinton campaign is watching their worst nightmare unfold right now as Donald Trump regains momentum this close to Election Day. This gives Donald Trump the unique opportunity of talking to voters who are at a point where they're seriously considering who they will support next Tuesday and really asking them, do you want to support somebody who would be under criminal investigation as the president-elect? That is a powerful argument for him to be making 7 days before the election, and one that he'll likely carry to battleground states like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Wisconsin this week.
Yeah, but it just seems, Steve, like the Clinton campaign, the only answer here is to double down, dig in. We've been down this road before, nothing here now. Is that the strategy, you think, or do you think they need to ramp it up in a different direction?
Absolutely. There's one important analytical point to make here. Hillary Clinton was under FBI investigation throughout most of this campaign, and she was ahead the whole way. Nothing new here whatsoever, except for an FBI director breaking ground by informing Congress of his investigation, and Congress has nothing to do whatsoever with FBI investigations. We have separation of powers in this country. It's a constitutional breakthrough of enormous proportions on his part.
Dagan, how do you see it?
Attorney General Loretta Lynch could have ordered Jim Comey not to write that letter to Congress, and she didn't do it. Something raised in the Wall Street Journal today in the op-ed page.
She couldn't do that politically.
Yes, she could.
You know that. No, she could not have done that politically.
But you just said politically. That's what's so laughable in all of this. She could have done it, but the suspicion is that he would have resigned and caused an even greater firestorm.
Exactly.
Dagan,
he had all the leverage.
She's been washing her hands of this from the very get-go. She stayed out of it.
Well, after she had the private meeting on the plane, she watched
which many would call an abdication of her responsibility as the head of the Justice Department.
That was her original sin, getting on a plane with Bill Clinton, because she hasn't been able to be a part of this from the get-go.
Did everybody see what President
Clinton got
Obama
on the
said
plane
about
with
Jim
her.
Comey? Did everybody see what President Obama said about Jim Comey?
Yes, I did. It was through the spokesman.
Through Ernest, absolutely
the
right.
The president does not believe that Director Comey is intentionally trying to influence the election.
Yeah, and he said he's got confidence in Jim Comey, right. Is the bottom line there. So that's underlying what you're saying. They're trying now to step back.
By the way, I disagree. As the Democrat here, I disagree with the president on that.
Why?
Because he clearly was trying to influence the election. When you start an investigation, nobody's been charged with anything, and as he said, they don't even know what the evidence is yet.
So how do you explain 3 months ago?
You don't announce that to the world.
So 3 months ago he was okay?
He shouldn't have done that either.
When he said that she was careless, but
he shouldn't have done that either. He should not have done that either. That's unprecedented as well. You tell the lawyer we're not looking at you anymore. That's their standard procedure.
Morgan.
Gabby, what I'm interested in over the weekend is, and this is just tangential evidence, but a lot of people who I talked to, the Never-Trumpers, said, you know what, after this latest release, I'm going to vote for Trump. I cannot let this woman be president. Now, this isn't necessarily reflected in the polling yet. But it's still quite close. I mean, Trump is down maybe 2 or 3 points nationally. What do you see this helping him in terms of going into next Tuesday? Is this going to be enough to give Trump the bump that he needs in some of these close swing states?
Well, if you look at some of the polls that's happened immediately after the FBI announcement on Friday, it doesn't seem to have been a complete devastation for Hillary Clinton's campaign, though we haven't seen many polls in battleground states yet. So we should be keeping an eye out for that in the next 2 or 3 days to see what the effect is there. But, you know, as I mentioned earlier, Donald Trump is going to be in Pennsylvania today, where he's likely to speak to voters, many of whom remain undecided, about, you know, the consideration that they need to make of electing somebody who would be under criminal investigation, likely through her presidency, and what that would mean. Yesterday he said that she would be distracted, that she wouldn't be able to focus on creating jobs or, you know, addressing trade policy or doing anything that Donald Trump has promised to do because she would be so focused on this pending criminal investigation. And that's a powerful argument for him to make. And, you know, Donald Trump has gained in favorability since this happened. I mean, yesterday we saw an ABC News Washington Post poll that showed Hillary Clinton had now surpassed him in terms of having a worse worse unfavorable rating than Donald Trump. So there is an impact that's happening that was even taking place before the bombshell announcement on Friday, and that should give Donald Trump's campaign a bit of, it's definitely reinvigorated it.
It seems that way. That's what we're seeing. John Hilsenrath, your point was what? You're pushing back on the idea that Loretta Lynch did not.
Well, I think Loretta Lynch has put herself in an untenable position by getting on that plane with Bill Clinton. She wasn't able. She abdicated basically the leadership of this whole thing to Comey and put Comey in an untenable position.
And you're saying that's why she didn't get involved, as Dagan said, she could have stopped it.
Right, yeah. Because anytime she gets involved now, everyone's going to say, "What did you say to Bill Clinton on that airplane?"
But it's true. That's what everyone's saying. I would say the same thing. Why were you on the airplane? That was a huge mistake.
Huge mistake.
Well, and the biggest mistake is that they didn't impanel a grand jury in the first place in this investigation.
Well, as we reported yesterday in the Journal, there's been a lot of friction between the FBI and the Justice Department on this whole issue. Lower-level FBI investigators have wanted to push a lot harder on this, and the Justice Department has been skeptical of the investigation all along the way.
This is on the Clinton Foundation in particular, and referencing that February meeting between the FBI and the Justice Department where the people in Justice were very dismissive of what the FBI was trying to do in terms of investigating. They just wanted to kind of sweep it under the rug.
So on the one hand, you're saying she's not getting involved because of the plane incident. On the other hand, you're saying that they are getting involved. They're pushing back, saying, oh, yeah, don't look here. So which one is it?